they must engage in a tremendous amount of repair, especially our cartilage and our joints. And that's where the glucosamine and chondroitin come in. They're the vital structural molecules required for the normal repair process of our aging joint tissue. And the most important thing to remember about that, because that's something we've all heard about by now. 40 years ago, I was sort of the lone voice in the wilderness talking about the benefits of glucosamine and chondroitin. Now, there's thousands of products touting their benefits, many exaggerating their benefits. But unfortunately, of those thousands and thousands of products, most of them ignore the science because they don't use a form of glucosamine that's the beneficial form pronounced in the science. So they ignore the science. Well, they follow the science sufficiently to make a product that they can sell, but then they ignore the science when they put the actual form of glucosamine in. Wow. They use a form called glucosamine hydrochloride, which does not deliver the benefits of glucosamine sulfate, which is what we use. So our product specifically follows the science based on the amounts, based on the forms in all respects.
It's disappointing when you put your trust into something that you hope is giving you maximum benefits, then you find out that perhaps it's not the best form of the ingredient. And folks, that's what this is. The finest form. When you're talking glucosamine or chondroitin, this is the one you would want to buy. You know, we can talk youthful elasticity and flexibility. There's been a general theme tonight, perhaps, over the past few minutes of feeling younger or better or more confident about yourself. This is something that's at the very heart and soul of it. Because if you don't feel good in your body, you don't have the motivation to move.
No, and for me, it's really, I've always enjoyed sports. And being active and exercising is probably one of the most enjoyable pursuits in my life. So for me, I think just for quality of life, we want to remain active. We want to take care of our joints. We want to be able to continue. The ability to move is a sign of youth. And as we become more limited in our ability to move, it's an unfortunate sign of aging. So I try to do everything I can, and I try to provide as many tools as I can to encourage us to continue to be active and move. Because the minute we stop being active and moving, we start losing that capacity. So what do they say? If you don't use it, you lose it. Yep. Well, we might as well make sure that we give our body the tools to maintain tissue, that these tissues in our body, if we think about, like the hinges on a door. Imagine a door that you're going to use the hinges on that door thousands and thousands of times a day, and you're going to do that for almost a century. Right. That's our bodies. That's our ankles, our knees, all the joints in our hands and our feet. That's what we expect our body to be able to do over the course of our lifetime. And if we had a door, we would change the hinges every once in a while. We'd repair them, we'd lubricate them. But we really don't give much thought at all to what's necessary for our body to maintain these tissues. And that's what an ingredient like this is all about.
I want to quickly show you pricing. If you're ordering right now, again, before midnight when the pricing expires, $75 or $150, $300 or $600. Save a lot of money, saving more than you're spending for the larger size. So definitely take advantage. We are heading this way. Andrew, is it Gingko and Ginseng or Gingko and Ginseng?
Ginkgo. Ginkgo is what I say. And Ginkgo is it's a prehistoric plant. Right. Ginkgo has been around for, I think it's been around for billions of years, that plant. So it's a tree. And many of us have seen them and not realized we've seen them. It kind of looks like a cross between a palm tree and a fern. Right. But the ginkgo tree is, ginkgo extract is something that's been talked about in terms of memory and mental function traditionally for centuries, for thousands of years. And we are, for those wanting to know when it's happening in about 35 minutes from now. It will be on. I thought we were going on to now. No, I know, because people were asking me about it, Andrew. I didn't want to throw you a curveball there. Yeah, and that's a product, our ginseng and ginkgo product, that has been put together because those were, historically here in America, the two most popular sort of botanical herbal tonics. Right. So we'll talk that, and ours is, it's just incredibly affordable too. Well, if you have some spare time later this evening and you go online and you Google turmeric, and you see what a lot of things say, a lot of articles say, what people say, what legend says, what history says about the many, many, many benefits that turmeric has, you'll start to get excited. And this was another question that I recalled reading. There was a long list of questions I was provided. I recall reading this question that turmeric, someone was told turmeric has to be taken with black pepper to be beneficial. black pepper spice, which is piperine. Yes, black pepper spice does enhance the bioavailability of turmeric. And turmeric inherently is not bioavailable. It's really poorly absorbed. It's a great spice. When you cook with it, you complex it with fats, you make it more bioavailable. So what I prefer to do, rather than using an irritating black spice to make turmeric more bioavailable, I prefer to take a page out of the traditional Asian or Indian cookbook. We simply complex it with a fat that's beneficial for your brain and beneficial for your liver, phosphatidylcholine.
Right.
So we put a very small amount of phosphatidylcholine in with the product. At low temperatures, we sort of cook it at low temperatures with the turmeric, and it makes the turmeric about 3,000% more bioavailable. You need to do something to make turmeric more bioavailable because it inherently is not. So you could start with the best extract of turmeric. It could be 95% curcuminoids because curcuminoids are the beneficial compounds in turmeric. But at 95% curcuminoids, if you don't do something to enhance its activity, it's really going to be terribly absorbed.
So there's many of us that are excited about turmeric products that are out there, and I really want to kind of dig into this for a second. We're excited to take a turmeric product, but are you taking the right product? Andrew, when you say bioavailable, what does that mean?
Bioavailable means it's more than sticking an ingredient in a bottle, in a pill, in a capsule, and even sticking that ingredient in your mouth.
Right.
Once you swallow it, what's going to happen? And as a manufacturer of a supplement, that manufacturer should know that the ingredient that they're delivering is going to be bioavailable. Bio meaning biological, to your system, to yourself, to the living organism, available. So when it comes to turmeric, you could start with that great turmeric extract. It's unfortunately not going to be very bioavailable, meaning your body will not be able to absorb it out of your digestive system effectively to deliver its benefits to your body. But you can mix in some black pepper spice, which could be irritating to your digestive system, which could also affect the absorption and metabolism of certain drugs, which I think is not a great idea, so I'd rather avoid that. So we use a proven method, and it simply involves complexing our turmeric with a small amount of phosphatidylcholine, the predominant fatty phospholipid fat in your brain and in your liver.
So price-wise, if you want to go for Andrew's turmeric product, for all the reasons we're stating, it's important to know it. There are 30, 60, 120 or the 240. Andrew, is this something you would take every day?
I take turmeric every day.
Okay.
It's one of those things. One capsule a day is plenty. I take 2 capsules a day just because you read the research on turmeric and you just really don't want to be without it.
It's hard to ignore.
We also cook with it, and it's something that I've always wanted to do because the typical turmeric spice is 1 to 3% curcuminoids.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to create a turmeric spice that once you cook with it, you naturally complex it with fats. I always wanted to create a standardized turmeric spice that would be more like 40 or 50% curcuminoids. So it could have 10, 15, 20 times the curcuminoids. So it would become a really, really powerfully beneficial turmeric spice. So one of these days we might have that available as well.
Well, please do, if you have a chance, look up turmeric and all the benefits of it. I think you'll be highly impressed.
And I remembered reading another question earlier today.
Please.
Someone had asked with our Friendly Flora and our Ultimate Friendly Flora, why we tend to make smaller sizes of those products. And even on a Today Special, the largest size we'll ever make is about 240 capsules or so. The reason why, even though that product is stable, and we make it specifically to be stable without refrigeration, it can be one of the more fragile products we make if someone really treats it badly, putting it in a bathroom with humidity and high temperature. So we want to eliminate any risk whatsoever of loss of potency. So we don't make a 500, 600, 800 capsule supply. So we limit it at basically what would be a 6 to 8 month supply.
You see, there's always a reason.
Yep.
Good question, though.
No, there's a method to our madness. There's always is. And that's, you have to figure if we're doing something a certain way, there's always a purpose and behind everything we do. From, again, even our bottles. People used to ask me why our caps used to be a little bit different color than the bottles. And that was because we first went to bottles that were post-consumer resin, meaning that there were no virgin resin. So there were bottles that were made from recycled resin. And we actually forced the industry to go there first because they weren't available. So everything we do, if it looks a little funny, sometimes our capsules don't look perfectly filled. That's because we don't use fillers. So I'd rather have a capsule that might look a little ugly than have a capsule that's all full of additives. So there's, again, a method to our madness.
Well, folks, if there was such a thing as an instruction manual to the Andrew Lessman brand, it might say on page 1, start here. Essential One. I cannot say enough good things about it. For many of us, the only vitamin that we take is a multivitamin. And for many of us, whether it's Centrum or one a day, we've been taking it for a long time. What we're about to say, or I might say, is something that shocks you, and that is, this is better than that. And we can prove it and show it to you. Andrew, you reinvented the way we think about multivitamins.
Well, on one hand, better would be, I think if something is going in your body, better would be more pure. So we eliminate all the binders and fillers and things that are part of tablets. I have some tablets on the counter there. They're really pretty colors.
Like a candy store.
I even left out some of the prettiest of the colors. There's green.
Right.
And all of these are colored with artificial colors.
Does that make me healthier, the green one?
No, it doesn't. And, you know, mine is bland, boring, beige powder. So
in this case, bland is good.
Exactly, and it comes in a little tiny capsule, and you can't even see the capsule. But that's more pure is superior. Also, if you look at the forms of nutrients, we select forms in terms of B12. We use natural coenzyme B12. The typical multivitamins use cyanocobalamin, which liberates trace amounts of cyanide. And most of the B12 in their products won't be available anyhow because it will be destroyed in the acid in your stomach. So if you even look at the potency of the products, all key nutrients we give higher potency. Our product contains lutein, lycopene, and zeaxanthin. Their products contain virtually none of the critical carotenoids we need. So this is where you start. And it's often a question, where do you start with my products? Essential One, CoQ10, Max Essential Omega-3, that's like a perfect foundation. The other areas are more specialty. If you want soothing for your joints, maybe turmeric. If you want something structural for your joints, glucosamine, chondroitin, maybe collagen peptides for your joints or for your skin. They become more issue or problem or tissue oriented. Right. But in terms of basic foundational nutrition, easy to start with Essential One, CoQ10, Max Essential Omega-3. That's really foundational stuff. Those are all essential nutrients. So that's a logical, sensible way to start. And there's most multivitamins are not terribly well reviewed. This multivitamin is almost perfectly reviewed. We couldn't make it any better than it is. It's a product that is small, it's easy to swallow, it won't upset your stomach. That ultrafine powder is your guarantee that it's going to be neutral and mild when you swallow it. Even if you have the most sensitive stomach, it's not going to upset your stomach.
So just to put it in perspective, 3,497 reviews, 3,000 of them are perfect 5 stars, 3,300 of them are 4 and 5 stars. So a huge percentage there, Andrew.
No, it's a product that's exceptionally well reviewed. So if you want to start somewhere, this is the place to start. And again, it comes with a 100-day money-back guarantee till the end of January, but it's unlike any multivitamin, higher in potency, but a better value than any of the leading multivitamins you'll find.
There's so much information to learn and to kind of discover tonight, but if it's all a lot of things that you don't know which to choose this. You cannot go wrong. I want to show you the pricing because it is about to expire as well. Again, notice it says it right here. Andrew's been on HSN 23 years. This is the final show with his anniversary pricing. We're going to take one a day, right? Okay, so one a day is 360 caps there or thereabouts. Normally $149.90. If you order it right now, we're saving $40. We'll send it to you free of charge, free shipping, and it is on 4 flex pay as well. So a good day to do it.
Yeah, and it's, again, the leading multivitamins do not contain lutein, they don't contain lycopene, the zeaxanthin. They don't contain our 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, the 5-MTH form of folic acid. Because if you're like me and about probably half of the American population, you can't metabolize folic acid, plain folic acid well. So, and then our special form of B12, it's the most sophisticated multivitamin you're going to find, and at a year's supply, it's just an incredible, incredible value.
I did realize something, Andrew, that the other big names do that you do not do, though. I have found something. Right. And that is the glossy advertising.
Well, they have all the fancy advertising. We have none. They have all the pretty artificial colors and binders and things like that. they might have more additives in their product than we have actual ingredients in our products. So, and most of their products are coated with waxes like carnauba wax, which is like car wax, or some are coated with sugars and things like that. So it's an industrial product that they make. I'm astounded that 40 years after I started, and I talked about additives and vitamins and colors, I'm astounded that they still have additives in those products. I think even now, M&Ms, they don't use artificial colors in their M&Ms anymore. Sure. I think they got rid of artificial colors.
I think so.
Yet vitamins, which are supposed to be healthy, vitamins still retain the artificial colors.
It's ridiculous.
So, really surprising. So read labels carefully. With my product, the only ingredient we add to this is the capsule. That's it.
We could spend the whole hour on this one item, folks. To kind of sum it up, it is not a multivitamin, it is the multivitamin. If you compare it to any others out there, Andrews wins hands down. So definitely give it a go. I think you'll be impressed.
And here, we're going to our Max Essential Omega-3. When I talked about where to start, we did our Today Special on CoQ10 the other day, because CoQ10 is technically not a vitamin, but given how we live and given as we age, it really behaves like a vitamin. That's why I was saying you start really with Essential 1, CoQ10, and then Max Essential Omega-3. And the reason why you go to Omega-3, you're probably gonna say, that's the vitamin. Why? Because it behaves like a vitamin in your body because your body can't make it. And that's one of the fundamental definitions of a vitamin or a mineral, that these are nutrients that have to be provided from the outside, or there are going to be issues because you're not able to make them inside. And that's exactly the case with Omega-3. Despite Omega-3 fatty acids representing 2/3 of the dry weight of our brain. So if you take the water out of our brain, 2/3 of its weight is DHA, is the omega-3 fatty acid that we focus on. Others do not. We focus on in this product. So to think that our bodies can't make that, we need to provide it. And to think that the American diet is so deficient in it, I just think that it's no wonder we have issues with our brains. We have issues with our eyes because DHA is also concentrated in our eyes. We have issues with our cardiovascular system because the American diet, just as we talked about before, is defined almost by its deficit of fiber. It's equally defined by its deficiency of omega-3 fats.
It's on the Mount Rushmore of Andrew Lessman products, there's no doubt about it. No fishy aftertaste. We could spend a lot of time talking about that. If you had a disappointing experience with an omega-3 product, you won't find the same with this. Totally different.
No, this is a product that there's a little chart that talks about the words that are most commonly reviewed. And this is a product that I think the word love is used in the reviews, I think almost 1,000 or 2,000 times. That it's a product that you don't expect to fall in love with an omega-3 product. But this is so different from all of the typical omega-3 products on the market, so entirely different, that it really is an opportunity to give your body a gift, to give your brain, again, our body can't make omega-3 fats. If you're not eating fatty fish on a daily basis, you're not getting omega-3 fats. Yet your brain, it is the most predominant ingredient in your brain, the most predominant ingredient in the retina of your eye, especially the macular region. So just consider those critical parts of your body and the fact that if you're not eating fatty fish on a daily basis, they're not getting what they need.
Just so you know, 3,540 reviews, 3,000 of them are perfect 5 stars. You're in good hands. I want to show you the pricing. It's certainly one to grab while it's there. The special anniversary pricing brings it under $100, Andrew, right? For those of us that are going to the big box store and stocking up there, we're looking for good values.
And remember also, the huge omega-3s that you see in stores are typically about 300 milligrams per capsule. My capsules are a fraction the size. We'll show here. Those are the typical omega-3s, and they are rather large. But ours will leave some space in the middle. Ours is actually, sit still, there we go.
It's the cute one in the middle.
Ours is probably a little bit more than half the size, or about half the size, but it contains about 50% more omega-3.
Wow.
They're enormous. They're just enormous. So again, and that goes to our investment in the highest quality omega-3 oils. Again, no fishy aftertaste, no fishy repeat. It will not make you nauseous. And this is a product unlike And again, I always say that the only thing that really disturbs me about my competition is that they make products that discourage people.
Right.
And when people get discouraged, then they say, nah, his products are just like all the rest, I'm not gonna bother. So I don't know how many times I've even had to talk friends or family members into trying my products because it's not like the other ones that you've been disappointed by. So it's an opportunity to have a different experience when it comes to omega-3s. It's unlike any omega-3 product you'll find at any store anywhere in the world.
I know it takes a lot, and kind of on this 23rd anniversary visit, we go back to day one, where just the idea of offering vitamins through a TV camera into your home is a little bit novel. I mean, Andrew, what did you think way back then?
Oh no, it was very funny when I was first going on, back in the day when I was first going on QVC 29, 30 years ago, and folks were saying to me, okay, you're selling vitamins on TV. Next thing it's gonna be butter, eggs, and milk. Because everyone at that time, you got your vitamins in the grocery store.
Sure.
So now, of course, we get everything online, but back in the day, I'm dating myself, but back in the day, that's what people perceived. But again, what we did, what was unique, and what was, I think, appealing to QVC and appealing to HSN, is that we were very serious about it. Most vitamin companies just rely on contract manufacturers to do everything. We do everything. We make your products for you, and we do it entirely using solar energy. So we are the beginning and the end. So when you write a review, and that review might contain a suggestion, and the product changes in the future, it was your review and your suggestion that changed our products. And that's how we functioned all these years. We make everything for you, and your feedback is what drives our innovation.
You know, it speaks volumes. The reason why Andrew is here 23 years later is because people keep coming back to order more, and they order more because they're thrilled with the experience and the quality. Talking of challenging the norms, you wanted a plant-based omega product, you delivered one.
For those who don't want a fish-based omega, again, all the science, all the research is on fish-based omega-3, but for those on a plant-based diet, and of course, the reason why omega-3s are even present in fish is because they eat algae. So we have another product that's an algae-based omega-3 product. So that's our algal-based DHA, if you want that, just in case.
And folks, the pricing, I think I have it right here just to share with you. No, I don't. No chart, it's okay.
It's at great, you're saving about $60 on the large size. It's on great anniversary pricing.
So it is there. And again, pricing expires at midnight, so I don't want you to miss out on anything. I know Andrew and I put on an entertaining show, and you might forget to pick up the phone, but please.
They're just riveted to the TV. They
hypnotized.
They're hypnotized, paralyzed. They can't get to the phone.
They're thinking, how tanned is that host in the blue jacket?
No, most people, I think most people order online now. I don't think most people are calling into
on the phones, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but that's the way to do it. If you've not downloaded the HSN mobile app, we encourage you. You beat the rush. Of course, go to hsn.com. Okay, we are swiftly moving on to, this is always an impressive topic. Oh boy. Ultimate eye support with the important ultra high levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. Andrew could write a book on the importance of these two key ingredients. No matter how old we are, it is important to help to look after our eyes and give them what they need. Reviews talk about feeling enhanced levels of sharpness, better accommodation. You know, many of us are on our phones all the time, on our tablets, on our PCs, on our laptops. We need something to help our eyes. I want to show you the pricing on this one, because this isn't just a product in Andrew's line, it's one of his biggest and most popular and most reordered products. So if you're ordering before midnight, you're able to take advantage of our special savings. So after midnight, that's what it will be. If you order it before midnight, that's what you can get it for, which of course the savings increase dramatically with the larger sizes. As you'll soon see, $119.90 for 360 caps is a small price to pay considering the ingredients.
Well, and that's one of the burdens that this product has to carry, is that lutein and zeaxanthin are among the most expensive ingredients present in any product that we make, closely followed by our blueberry extract that's in here. The blueberry extract is standardized for anthocyanins, and anthocyanins are, that wonderful purple pigment that has all sorts of protective roles throughout the body, but it has a particular role in terms of night vision. And if you look at the reviews on this product, you see all sorts of great reviews talking about sharpness of vision, all sorts of great reviews talking about feedback from physicians, from ophthalmologists, but in addition, great reviews talking about night vision. talking about the transformation of vision at night, where driving might have been difficult previously and now driving has become possible again. That's the anthocyanin based, also with help from lutein and zeaxanthin. So the ingredients in this product are, unfortunately, they're high potency, but they're expensive ingredients.
Right.
And lutein and zeaxanthin, as I like to say, it's really important to distinguish it. It's not a drug or a medicine. They're not ingredients that work on your eyes so your eyes can work better. They're ingredients that make your eyes work, that without them, your eyes can't go to work. Lutein and zeaxanthin are defined as the optical pigments. They are the retinal pigments. They are when you look in a scope and look in your eye and you'd see the retinal area, the macula. What you're seeing, that color you see, is a result of lutein and zeaxanthin being deposited at high levels in that specific area of the eye. And it's responsible, it almost plays the role of those yellow sunglasses that give sharpness of vision. But of course, the eye and our brain correct that so everything doesn't look yellow. But lutein and zeaxanthin give us that enhanced sharpness of vision, gives us better contrast in vision. It allows us to do better in terms of going from dark to light and light to dark, which is something as we get older we struggle with. It just enhances the visual system of our eye. And lutein and zeaxanthin is a critical component of that visual system.
Is it ever too late to start using this?
No, what I always say is the younger you start, of course you have a lifetime to derive benefits, which is wonderful in terms of protecting your eyes and enjoying the benefits. But the later you start, the more dramatic the benefits tend to be. Because when we're young and youthful, we can get away with murder. We really don't need the ingredients to make our way through life. But as we get older, as we get more challenged, we absorb these ingredients more from our diet. It's more difficult to absorb. We don't tend to get them in abundance in our diet. And as we get older, especially when it comes to things like our collagen peptides or turmeric or glucosamine, chondroitin for our joints, even whey protein as a protein source for someone who's elderly. When you give someone, especially as they get older, what they need, it's just dramatic when you see how well the body can thrive when it finally gets the tools that are required.
We have our final quantities of this again for the anniversary visit, and the most popular size at this moment.
Small amounts remaining.
Yeah, well, the 360 especially. I think a lot of folks, maybe you had it in the shopping cart from yesterday. Again, Andrew had two brilliant Today specials, Choco Nouveau and Coenzyme Q10 yesterday. If there was anything that you were thinking of buying, Omega-3, Essential 1, you know, all the wonderful assortment that we have, if you didn't check out, this is your last chance to be able to do it. We started the show with Breath Plus. Oh my gosh, we're down to the final few hundred of those. The ultimate breath freshening product, grab that while you can. In terms of this one, you cannot beat the formula. And Andrew, one of the things, and I think, is our time up on this one? I think it's
Time's up. But just where I'm really impressed is when you look at the reviews that when I first introduced this product, lutein and zeaxanthin, you could even ask your ophthalmologist and optometrist, they'd scratch their head and go, lutein, zeaxanthin?
Right.
Now, I think what's responsible for the popularity of this product is that ophthalmologists are now recommending the product. In fact, the product we'll talk about next exists specifically because of the recommendations of optometrists and ophthalmologists that lutein and zeaxanthin are so important. They wanted a special targeted product for their patients that gave even higher levels. So you get 10 milligrams and 5 milligrams in Ultimate Eye. Per capsule, per small capsule of Max L plus Z, you're getting just pure lutein and zeaxanthin, nothing else, at 12 and 6. So you're getting, actually using the typical measurement, you're getting 12,000 micrograms of lutein and 6,000 micrograms of zeaxanthin per capsule. And as I said, this was a product that really originated because we were hearing, my doctor loves Ultimate Eye, but he wants me to specifically take ultra-high levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. And the number that turned out to be the right number to either take on its own or to blend with Ultimate Eye was 12 milligrams of lutein, 6 milligrams of zeaxanthin.
So interesting.
So you get over 20 of lutein and say over 10, over 11 of zeaxanthin when you combine it with Ultimate Eye. Or someone could simply take 1 or 2 capsules of this on its own if they just want the lutein and zeaxanthin. But this is the most cost-effective way to get the most important ingredients for the health of our eye, for the macular region of our eye, for the retina of our eye, for protecting our eye long-term, and for giving us the sharpest, healthiest vision here and now, today. And it's a product that I really didn't think we'd ever be able to make at 5 times this cost. So the fact that over the years, lutein and zeaxanthin has come down dramatically, as expensive as they still remain, crazy expensive, to think that we could have 12,000 and 6,000 micrograms of lutein and zeaxanthin respectively in a tiny little capsule is exciting.
Andrew, what if I said to you, well, can I get this from my diet? What with the stuff that I'm eating?
The answer is lutein, if you have a great diet, lutein is actually pretty accessible.
Okay.
Because lutein is something, if you eat a lot of spinach, which we don't, or I do, but, or a lot of kale, or other green leafy vegetables, or even things like peas, you can get good levels of lutein. Zeaxanthin, on the other hand, very hard. Even if you eat an abundance of those green leafy vegetables, you could get to a few milligrams of zeaxanthin, but not quite the levels you see here. And again, when it comes to the health of our eyes, when it comes to the health of our aging eyes, and I just read a few dozen studies recently talking about lutein and zeaxanthin and their biochemistry in the body and their physiology in the eye, you're just left reading the study that you never want to be without these 2 ingredients, whether in your diet or supplemented, that they're just incredibly, critically important to the maintenance of this fragile structure in our eye, the retina. It's just such a fine, fragile structure, and every day of our life when we open our eyes, it's bombarded with radiation. The way our eye works is to simply bombard itself with radiation. It's like sacrifices itself for us every single day. And lutein and zeaxanthin are the most critical components to protect it from the radiation that we expose it to.
So much of what we've talked about kind of leads back to diet, and it's funny how for many of us, you know, for all of us, we know that we should be eating this, but for 99% of us, we're not eating that. So we have to try and find other means to help supplement and support our bodies. We all know that to be true. And when it comes to this, just like Andrew said, if you're not eating a lot of spinach, for example, we're not necessarily giving our body what it needs. This is going to help do it.
Just to give you a sense of the concentration of this, I just squeezed it open. It looks like blood.
It does.
And that's lutein and zeaxanthin.
The natural color.
It's typically yellowish, but it's just so concentrated there that in the studio here, it appears almost like blood. That's how concentrated it is.
It's amazing.
No, it's, and now my hands are going to be bright orange, but that's okay. It's natural. So, and again, when you look at something like that, you wonder why companies I'd scratch my head saying, and why do they use artificial colors?
Right.
When you have these wonderful, healthy ingredients that can be the perfect color. I mean, that's why this capsule is so beautiful, is the natural color of lutein and zeaxanthin.
And Andrew, last question on this before we wrap up. Is it 1 per day, more than that?
This is really a product that oftentimes we find it's a byproduct of a recommendation by an ophthalmologist, optometrist, and sometimes they're going to recommend the 12 and 6.
Okay.
Sometimes they're going to recommend 24 and 12.
Okay.
So it would be 1 or 2 capsules a day. You combine it with Ultimate Eye if you like as well, but simply follow the recommendations of your ophthalmologist, your optometrist, your optician, your general practitioner, whatever they might recommend.
Final calls and final orders in the larger size specifically, again?
Personally, I like to get a minimum of, say, 12 and 6, 10 and 5 daily in terms of lutein and zeaxanthin. And I also, my standard side when I eat any kind of protein and things is to have, say, sauteed spinach or broccoli or broccolini. So I do make an effort to eat green leafy vegetables.
And Andrew, we kind of slightly addressed this earlier. A lot of people always ask me to ask you about shelf life and in terms of how long I can have my vitamins there. Is there a general answer to that?
It varies by product. The shortest shelf life we have on any product is going to be about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And even though things like calcium and magnesium and many products can last many years, the longest date we put on anything is 3 years.
Okay.
Obviously, Fiber Mucil could probably sit in your cabinet for 10 years and be fine. Same with CalMag. They're going to be here long after we are. But our rule of thumb is nothing over 3 years, and there's nothing that's shorter than 2 years.
Well, we're going to move in on a product that can truly change your life. We're looking at circulation and vein support. Massive, massive response yesterday. Final show for you to be able to get it. 7,000 were reserved. Swollen feet, heavy legs, tired feet, swollen calves. When your legs feel bad, you don't feel good, you don't feel motivated, this product changes everything. I say it every time, and I can say it tonight because my mum's at home watching, but this is the one that my mum religiously takes back to England with her when she comes to visit me here in the United States. She swears by this. Appearance of her legs to the way they feel. I want to quickly show you this pricing. Very, very important. I personally can't remember seeing, in terms of monthly special, in terms of anniversary pricing, a deal as good as this. $89.90 for 360 caps. If I had the time, I'd read through some of the 3,000 reviews, of which 2,416 are perfect 5 stars. Some of the reviews are pretty emotional. A lot of the reviews say, I'd watched Andrew for years, I'd thought about it, I'd looked at it, I didn't do it. But when you finally take circulation and vein support, it is a change for good. Andrew, always a pleasure to present this.
This is one of those products that I'm very proud of, because I think without us, this ingredient would have never seen the light of day in America. And my understanding is that probably 75 or 80% of the diosmin that comes to America through my products.
Amazing.
It's an ingredient that in Europe, in Asia, it's incorporated into basically into medical products. They're regulated differently and recommended by doctors or prescribed for their patients' healthy legs. And the quantities that they go through in Asia and in Europe, in both cases, is probably 50 to 100 times more than what we go through here in America. So it's really unfortunate that Americans have been deprived of this natural ingredient to deal with something that's a bit of an epidemic for all of us. And that's the comfort, the feeling, the swelling, the size, the appearance of our feet, ankles, and calves as we age. It's an ingredient that I guess it was about 25 years ago, we started the legal process to import this. It's a natural ingredient. It's derived from the citrus rind, the rind of oranges. Our raw material comes from Spain. So it's an ingredient that's natural, and we don't make any drug claims for it or anything like that, but it's a product that can make such a difference in so many people's lives, and I think most of us don't even imagine that it could. I mean, if you go online and really dig into the research, if you go to the National Institute of Health database and you type in diosmin, D-I-O-S-M-I-N, you're just gonna come away with looking at hundreds of studies and the clinical studies, and I read the quotes from the studies all the time about how it can change the appearance, and even the language they use in the study is with such certainty about how it works, that it's proven and established. So it can make a difference in things, and especially great time of year to talk about it, because money back guarantee until the end of January, January 31st. And this is the time of year when we tend to be on our feet a lot of challenges. It's an opportunity to obviously, apparently see a difference in your feet, ankles, and calves, how they feel, how they look, their comfort, the size of the veins, the swelling that occurs at the end of the day. It's a see the difference product. I encourage you to read the reviews, because the reviews are phenomenal.
And let me tell you, if you're ordering tonight, you get that flex pay. Many people forget about it, but flex pay is your best friend to be able to get it home. In our details, it says see a difference in as little as 30 days. That's not a lot of leeway that you have to give it to start to see it.
Well, you could typically see a difference in this product in a matter of days.
And that's exciting.
You can see a difference in a matter of days, certainly in a week or two, but this is a product that certainly in 90 or 100 days, you'll just be ecstatic and eager to reorder the product. It's something that the science is so compelling. The science, it's not like there's 1 or 2 good studies. There's dozens and dozens of incredibly positive studies. And we started with the ingredient from those studies, the diosmin with hesperidin. And then all we did was improve it. We added grapeseed extract, the OPCs, the oligomeric proanthocyanidins. We also added pine bark extract, and then we added butcher's broom extract. And butcher's broom extract, it's almost as effective as diosmin. Not quite, but almost. So what we've done is we've taken a product that was almost perfectly reviewed and made it an even more perfect product. And of course, we always gauge your feedback to make sure everything we do just continues to make the product better. But it's just 2 capsules a day. Some people take 1. I really encourage 2 capsules a day. That's how it was designed to work. That's where the clinical studies are unanimous pretty much in all of their benefits in all the respects. So that's the best way to use it.
It feels good to try something that's remarkably pure, that's made right here in the United States, that's backed up with the extraordinary returns policy that we have. And again, you're buying directly from the man himself who makes it.
And I just was looking at a question here about leg cramps. If you read the reviews, you'd see probably hundreds of reviews that talk about leg cramps. So this is a great product to take for leg cramps. Oftentimes, products calcium or magnesium are great for leg cramps. There's a product on the market, I think, might be called Calm. It's kind of a magnesium salt, magnesium citrate or something. You can mix it with water. A lot of people like that for leg cramps. We're going to make a product like that in the future.
Okay.
We also have our calcium magnesium intensive care. But this is really a great product for leg cramps because they're often circulation based, and this enhances the circulation in our feet, ankles, calves.
Our time is running out.
Yes.
Pricing, remember, is expiring. The other thing, Andrew, that you always do that never ceases to amaze me, you always keep evolving the product. It keeps changing all the time for the better.
Well, if we can, we continue to improve a product. Even our cranberry benefits, which is pure cranberry,
right,
that I would say over the last, say, 30 years that we've had a cranberry product, we've probably had 3 different sources of cranberry, constantly improving the cranberry source to make sure you're getting the beneficial components. So that's something that I take seriously. Also, because I'd say virtually every product we've talked about in this show, I don't take Ultimate Women's Wellness, but Ultimate Women's Wellness is coming up as a Today Special before the end of the year.
Good to know.
So it's good to know. That and prostate will be coming up. Also CalMag and vitamin K2 in December.
Okay.
So those will be coming up. And also PC Liver and Brain, liver antioxidant extracts, Ultimate Friendly Flora coming up as a Today Special in November.
Okay.
So those are our Today Specials coming up. But when it comes to cranberry, it's a product, as I said, we continue to evolve it because the only purpose for this product is to deliver the protective compounds that provide and promote a healthier environment in our bladder and urinary tract.
Right.
Because if we have a healthier environment there, then we're going to be able to move through the world in a more comfortable fashion. And that's basically, it's not a drug, it's not a medicine, it's not treating any disease. It's just promoting a healthier environment in our body that can be susceptible to challenges. And the cranberry is really, I say it's the poster child. It really represents best an ingredient that went from traditionally respected for centuries to now being scientifically accepted and clinically accepted today.
And the award for the prettiest color of capsule does go to cranberry this evening.
Might go to Maximel plus C. Turmeric is pretty attractive as well. You shouldn't be disparaging other
There's
capsules.
some high contenders here. There's some good front runners.
We don't use any color. We don't use any colors or additives, but we do have some attractive capsules, and that's a pretty attractive capsule, if I do say so myself.
As I said, we are mesmerizing together.
And it's again, you look at the screen, a 4.8 star rating, so a virtually perfectly reviewed product. You're not going to find a better, more pure, sugar-free, just gives you the benefits of cranberries you seek and nothing else.
And what we're seeking is an amazing price.
Yeah, and again, pennies a capsule. Yep.
$39. If you go for the 240 caps, and you will love this, you might as well go there, to be honest. It's a teeny tiny price for something that is adored. $25 savings if you order right now. Again, our pricing is expiring for the final show of Andrew's big 23-year anniversary visit. So now is the time to shop.
It's hard to believe 23 years, but cranberry, it's one of those things that even as most men really don't contemplate using it, but men, as we become older, we start becoming more aware of our bodies.
Right.
Women tend to be aware of their bodies through their entire lifetime. Men, we tend to be sort of blissfully ignorant, but something that does change in men is our relationship between our prostate and our urinary tract and our bladder. So we tend to become aware of it, and for many men, as we get older, those challenges become a little bit more difficult. So cranberry is not just something that's great for women, it's also something that's great for men as well.
We are now down to the final few in each size. I hope you can get it while it's there.
Yes.
It's the cranberry that you seek, not perhaps the cranberry that you're used to taking maybe in drinks.
And a little bit more than a dime a capsule. You don't have to take a handful of this a day. I recommend taking 1 capsule per day. I find it's best to take in the evening because in the evening, that's when our kidneys empty fluid into our bladder a little bit more slowly. We tend to hold fluid in our bladder for a longer period of time. So it has a chance to work a little bit longer when you take it in the evening. If you take 2 capsules a day, then morning and evening.
We're going to head over to our next item, and for those wondering, we are less than 10 minutes away from our Gingko and Ginseng product. I know many of you have been looking forward to it.
Very limited.
We will get there. Okay, what's next?
And cinnamon is something we often talk about alongside cranberry. It's something that, again, another botanical, and this is a botanical that works in an area that I'd probably say the two areas I get requested to make a product that can help in those areas. One is blood sugar metabolism.
Right.
The other is blood pressure. There's really no specific product I can say that's really going to be beneficial for blood pressure. Certainly your omega-3s and CoQ10 help support healthy blood pressure levels, but nothing that specifically is going to change the numbers in truly a significant and meaningful way. But when it comes to blood sugar and blood sugar metabolism and insulin metabolism, cinnamon extract has an abundance of research that about 10 years ago warranted that we create a cinnamon extract product, which isn't just cinnamon spice. You have to make sure it's extracted for the beneficial compounds that are contained in cinnamon. So yes, my product does taste like cinnamon and smell like cinnamon, but it's produced in a way that's entirely different than cinnamon spice because we focus on the beneficial compounds in cinnamon spice.
And one of the things that I've learned along the way is, you know, how we're delivering that form, the standardization of it, right, Andrew? That's what it boils down to.
Well, whenever you're talking about a botanical is derived from a plant. So say when you're talking about echinacea, you're looking at angustifolia and purpurea, parts of the plant, and you're looking at standardized components. When you're looking at cinnamon extract, you're looking at type A polymers. When you're looking at turmeric extract, you're looking at curcuminoids and special types and forms of curcuminoids. And ours is, of course, standardized for the best types and forms at 95% levels in terms of our turmeric. So cinnamon extract is, again, another example of something where you really have to take that plant and you extract the things that you want, you eliminate the things that you don't want. So what you're doing is you're getting in a small capsule, you're getting targeted nutritional, targeted protection, and that's exactly what our cinnamon extract is, where even on this here, the chart as I was talking about before,
right.
And generally what we're looking at are polyphenols and flavones, and here it's standardized to 8% flavones, also standardized to 3% type A polymers, and in addition to a 4-to-1 concentrate. We use 3 different extracts of cinnamon bark because their molecular composition is slightly different,
right.
And I just wanted to give the greatest cross-section of potential benefits, and the experience with the product kind of bears that out as a good decision because, again, this is a product that's virtually perfectly reviewed.
And folks, those reviews, just so you know, I have it right here, 603 perfect 5-star reviews out of 726. I mean, dramatically impressive.
So 4 and 5-star reviews are probably around 650 or
Indeed
60
it
or
is.
70.
It's 670, in fact, just on the nose. I want to show you pricing so you can see it. 30, 61, 22, 40. Again, the cranberry has been, you know, we were talking how affordable that is. The cinnamon as well, for the way Andrew's delivering it to you, the very best to give you the maximum benefits. We're looking at $44.90. That's a $20 saving. You might have seen maximum omega-3. It might have been essential 1. It might have been circulation and vein support. Perhaps it was our fiber mucil product. Maybe you are just tuning in saying, well, I need to get the cinnamon. Everything is expiring tonight at midnight. So all the pricing is expiring at midnight. Whenever you see Andrew on television, it also means you're getting the free shipping and handling as well. So if there's something you want to try, this is the day to be able to do it. And you've got the extra vote of confidence when it comes to that longer return policy. So you've got ample time to really start to see the effects.
And with cinnamon extract, it's something that with 100 days, you take 1 or 2 capsules daily. You don't have to take more than that. And it's very easy for many of us. We test at home. So we could see what our blood sugar levels are. We could see what our A1C level is, which is even more important than our fasting blood sugar, which is just, fasting blood sugar is just a snapshot of the blood sugar in your blood at the time they draw the blood. Your A1C is more of a video. It gives a longer period of time, an indication of what your blood sugar level was over that period of time. And of course, we love our A1C to be in the low 5s or high 4s. And there's wonderful reviews on this product, but that's something that you work closely with your doctor, and it's nice to have a tool in addition to whatever dietary, lifestyle, or medications you might be taking. This is a natural tool that won't conflict with any of those to help support your blood sugar metabolism in the right direction.
So that, Andrew, a good time to mention Berberine, correct, as a kind of partner product?
And Berberine is another product. You'd have to take take at least 2 capsules, I say, with each meal. So that's why it's larger size as Berberine.
Okay.
And Berberine is something that delivers the benefits of cinnamon in terms of supporting healthy blood sugar metabolism and insulin metabolism, maybe even to a greater extent. Plus, it also helps support healthy blood lipids as well. So whether we're talking about cholesterol and triglycerides, so Berberine is a very powerful botanical ingredient, a close relative to turmeric, but you'll need to take 2 capsules a day, 2 capsules per meal to see the benefits.
It's our 10-minute countdown, folks.
Yes.
Come and join us over this way for our next one. Ultimate Whey Protein. We don't get to talk about this a lot, Andrew. Something I know you're very passionate about.
And that's good, because I want to have a little protein before I go back and go to sleep.
Planned.
And whey protein is typically something that's available as concentrate. It contains sugar, it contains fat, it contains cholesterol. It contains a lot of things you don't want when you really just want pure protein. So our protein, not only does it not contain any sugar, does it not contain any carbohydrate, does it not contain any fat, it's also uniquely soluble. Usually the only way you're going to mix protein, and that was 3 servings, the only way you're going to mix protein is if you put it in a blender.
Okay.
Because protein is highly resistant to solubility. But I put about 30 plus grams into that glass, and I'll be able to drink that glass, and it's all in solution. So what we've done is we've made it tastes delicious. It tastes like a mild cream. It's super soluble. And as I said before, if we look at this chart here, and each serving is 10 grams of pure protein. No fat, no trans fat, no saturated fat, no cholesterol, no carbohydrate, no sugar. Even folks who I know who are lactose intolerant, you could try this at home. They were able to enjoy the benefits. It's low sodium, no added soy.
Wow.
A lot of whey protein adds soy, no flavors, no sweeteners, no artificial ingredients. Virtually no other whey protein product can say what we have here, that there's none of the fat, none of the carb. They're not as perfectly pure as this is. And I'm going to drink now.
To your good health. You can add it to your smoothie, your shake, your yogurt. If you're talking about exercise or losing weight, improving the protein in your diet is what this is going to do. You have 3 choices tonight: 25 servings, 50 servings, or 100 servings. In just a few short hours, the pricing will go back to here. This is what you can get it for today, $79.90 again for the best whey protein out there. And Andrew, you're all done.
As you can see, what protein powder could you put 30 plus grams in, say, whatever that was, 8 or 10 ounces of water, stir it with a spoon, and then just drink it down? That's how unique this whey protein. Imagine how creamy and how perfectly it blends. Muriel loves to put the whey protein in everything. I love to put it in smoothies. We'll make papaya smoothies at home, which are great for, it'll be pineapple and papaya, because they both contain a lot of bromelain, healthy enzymes. Or we'll do berry smoothies. But this protein powder just adds to the creaminess. It's never lumpy. I just put it in a glass of water. So if you want the best pure protein, even for someone who's elderly, who just want to get a great absorbable form of protein into their diet, rather than those Ensure products that have all sorts of crazy chemicals in them and things like that. You just want to get some very easy to absorb protein that doesn't have anything else that you have to worry about added in it, just pure protein. Whether an elite athlete or someone elderly, it's the best quality protein you're going to find anywhere, the purest protein you'll find anywhere.
Anything that Andrew does is always about giving you the best without the stuff that you don't want. Life is better when we don't have to consume things that none of us would choose to have if we had the choice.
But again, I think because what I always say with my products, I make them for me. I mean, I started this company not as a company. I started it to make vitamins for me because I was an athlete. I knew that vitamins would help with my recovery. So I was just making products for me. And the next thing you know, I was sharing them with other athletes and other competitors. And I found myself with a company without having any intent to ever have a company. It simply resulted from the fact that we were making products, or I was making products myself. I was running the machines, doing everything myself that no other company was making. And even today, that when you look at products like this, we do things in a fashion that no one else does them that way, simply because I have standards, because I'm making them for me and for my family. So that's the same exact products I share with you.
Thank you for all of your orders and your calls. Stay in the ordering process for yours. If you get it today, you get the FlexPay, the free shipping, the extended return policy, all the reasons to do it. Whey Protein is there for you. We're heading this way, Andrew, for our grand finale.
Yes.
So many of you asked for it. One of the most beloved products that's not on very often, but if you're looking at something to combat stress, and this is the only time I've said it in the show, run to the phone because this will sell out.
Back, as I said, back in the day, Gingko and Ginseng individually were the two most popular nutritional supplements available in supermarkets. They were two of the most popular products I made as well.
Right.
And today combined, they're a fraction of the price that they were even back in the day if you went back 30 plus years.
Right.
So it's an incredible value. You're getting the perfect standardization of Gingko we talked about before. It's ginkgo flavone glycosides and terpene lactones. It has to be the perfect standardization of those two ingredients to be considered as beneficial active ginkgo. And unfortunately, if you just went out to all the raw material suppliers of ginkgo in the world and ordered it and tested it, I would say that 90% of the ginkgo is going to fail. And I think that most manufacturers don't subject the materials to the kind of testing that we do. So we make sure that our ginkgo meets those standards. We make sure that our ginseng meets the standards of ginsenosides. These are two of the most sort of popular botanical tonic herbs, whatever you might want to refer to them as. So to combine them in one product, at this kind of a cost level is, I would have thought, unheard of.
We have at this stage close to 800 people dialing on in, and that will continue to build, folks. 4 minutes or sell out, whichever happens first. I want to quickly share with you 30, 60, 120 or 240. Pricing is amazing, as you can see here, but if I show you this chart, even more compelling, you know, the ginkgo is normally about $57, right? This is for the 240 size. The ginseng normally $80. You're looking at $136.80 total price. Our price for the anniversary, Andrew, is a fraction of it.
And if you think back at the cost that ginseng used to have, our ginseng is standardized, I think, to 20% ginsenosides. It's 200 milligrams. In the past, our product was about 50 milligrams and standardized at, I think, about 5%. So the levels of ginsenosides and ginseng that you get, the quality of the ginkgo that you get, also you get a full B complex, because if you're taking ginseng as a botanical tonic for say, fatigue, to combat fatigue, which is why many people take ginseng, then you want to have your B complex there, because that's part of the nutritional biochemistry for that ginseng to do what it needs to do. So it's a kind of a perfect tonic product to go along with the science of CoQ10 that we were talking about yesterday. Yes. But it's just, we rarely get to feature this product. It was back in the day more than twice as expensive, and just remains today two ingredients that for thousands of years were central ingredients in Chinese medicine and Oriental medicine, and today the quality of these two extracts are unparalleled. And unfortunately, when you see these extracts in most products, I think they're compromised more often than not.
And there's a lot there, and I know that for many of you who look to Andrew for guidance in terms of, well, I'm thinking about this product, but I'm waiting for you to make it or to produce something that's going to give me the best. For somebody that knows the history of ginkgo, ginseng, you know that what's there, the legacy of these ingredients, this is our best offer that I've seen that I've ever seen, right, Andrew?
Well, yeah, it's the best pricing we've ever had on this product. It's even better than the pricing that I had on the product 35 years ago. It's sort of like CoQ10, that oftentimes with science and with the expansion of the industry, we still have to be careful, and it's something that I don't often talk about, but it becomes very important with something like ginkgo and ginseng. Every single raw material that comes into my factory, I don't care how trusted the supplier is, trusted the source is, it goes into quarantine. And it doesn't leave quarantine until we test that product. We make sure that every drum, every sample of that product is going to be perfect. Then when we start manufacturing the product, what do we do again? We test it again. And then when we're done manufacturing the product, what do? We test it again. So when it comes to botanicals like this, we don't only test it for the standardized extract, we test it for impurities. We want to make sure there's no heavy metals, no contaminants, nothing. So it's with ingredients like this, you have to be extremely careful where they're coming from and how rigorously they're being tested.
People have looked to these ingredients for stress, for fatigue as a way to combat that. And if that's something...
And ginkgo for memory.
Yeah,
Ginkgo
right.
is really for, in terms of those normal age-related changes in memory. Ginseng, also a bit for memory, but really for a tonic for fatigue, combating fatigue, supporting energy. So together, it really is sort of the dynamic duo, as it were, of those Chinese herbs, medicinal herbs.
It is our grand finale item. We talked about it the entire show. It is our most popular item. We are running out rapidly. It's the last chance to be able to order. It's the fitting way to celebrate the culmination of 23 amazing years, Andrew, and it's always such a joy to be here with you.
No, after 23 years, it's me who's blessed. I mean, this is for an opportunity to talk about this sort of information, whether you get my products or not, to talk about this information so you could be more informed when you talk to your doctor, more informed when you might go to a health food store or shop online. You don't have to get my products. Most important thing is get information, whether from me or otherwise, and I encourage you to be curious, because a curious person will be a healthy person. So I hope I answered as many questions as I could today, and when I'm back, we'll do this again.
Andrew, when are you returning? November?
Middle of November, so I won't be back. So again, we have anniversary pricing until midnight tonight on everything. So I won't be back for a month if you have to reorder imminently.
If there's anything that you've not yet checked out, we'd do it before midnight because all the pricing is going up. Omega-3, Essential 1, anything you need, we've got it. Andrew, thank you so much from all of us. We appreciate you. We'll see you in November.
Thank you.
Stay with me.
Deborah.